Hi guys, I'm Candy and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel and my very first video that I've ever made for YouTube with me talking to camera, which is kind of odd. I hope you will stay around. I hopefully will be sharing all things creative, my art studio practice, bullet journaling, drawing, learning to paint this year, and then also my art garden as well. So there's lots going on here. There's also loads of very steep learning curves in every direction, so you are going to have to bear with me while I fail forwards, hopefully, while I learn about video making and technology and try to get to grips with just basically how to share things on YouTube. The steep learning curves because I've never bullet journaled before. This is the first year. I've never painted before. My practice before has always been textiles and embroidery and drawing. So I'm biting the bullet this year and picking up paintbrushes for the first time. And I just wanted to steal a little bit of the internet to share the journey because I've been so inspired by the creative community on YouTube. I follow loads of artists, I follow loads of gardeners and homesteaders, I follow AuthorTube and BookTube, and I just think it's a fantastic community for inspiration and sharing things. So welcome again. Do like and subscribe. This first video is my February setup for my bullet journal. 2020 setup and the January setup might at some point make it, but not yet, although it was filmed. There are some slight changes to my bullet journal setup from lessons I learned in January, which are basically to get a balance more between notebook style and sketchbook style. I was so keen to make January look pretty that it actually made it less useful for me. I was running out of space. I was running out of time to actually open the journal and use it. And at that point, I had to start saying, what is the point of this? So February, hopefully, I've struck a better, more useful balance between notebook and creative art book. But it's fun and I'm learning as I go. So without further ado, I will pass you over to past me actually making the February setup. Okay, thanks guys, bye. So the theme this month throughout February is going to be lighthouses, which is based on my one word for the year, which is shine. And I'm using the bullet journal as a excuse really to practice painting because I've never really painted. I was trained in textiles and I've drawn, but I've always been a bit scared of painting really. So this year it's one of my goals is to just try and be a bit braver, give it a go, see what happens, and just not be scared to pick up the paintbrush. So I'm starting with watercolours, and this is actually my third watercolour that you can see here, and I'm doing it for the cover page for February. You can see I've split the watercolour page into two. This side I'm just playing, trying to make sort of wave patterns, practicing wet on wet and adding ink. Not quite what I was after because I forgot that you have to start with the lighter colours. But it worked with the idea of light coming through waves. This third time round with the painting, I am using a white gel pen to add some patterns to the waves, some highlights. I think that turned out to be my favourite thing in the whole piece, to be honest. I wasn't too keen on the way the ink sat on the watercolour, but I loved the pen when I'd finished and all the details in the pen. So you can see here it's a little bit easier to see the gel pens. I really loved the gel pen round the rocks. So I'm cutting out the paintings here for the bullet journal. I don't really like the paper in the bullet journal, it's too thin, and I don't like the texture for the paint, so this works better for me. A second goal this year is to learn calligraphy for the first time. I've never ever done calligraphy. It doesn't come naturally to me at all. So here I'm just writing the word February in silver ink. And I really loved the silver against the gold and the blue. I thought it worked really well with a little heart as a nod towards Valentine's Day. So that's the cover page done. The calligraphy work, I need to find some resources for that. I did a few more pages of watercolour paper with different textures with rock salt. These I'm going to cut out for some of the weekly spreads later as I go through the month. This was the February calendar spread that I did. Here you can see how smooth the paper is because I painted directly onto the page here with the watercolours. I was just really scared it was all going to show through, but yeah, it worked. I liked the colours. This next page is a page for February goals. I want to try and keep myself a little bit more focused with just taking it a month at a time. January was a bit of a non-starter. I'd got the kids all off poorly from school, so I was just busy doing mom things. So this February, hopefully everybody's better now, and I want to try and stay a bit more focused. I really wanted to have a go at doing some collage. I haven't done collage for ages, so I really enjoyed doing this page. I'm going to write my goals around. I tested the tissue paper to see if it would allow me to write on it in ink pen without the ink spreading out and smudging, and it was fine. So I ended up covering the whole page with tissue paper, and I just really loved it. I think that's my textile soul in me coming out. So this now is my habit tracker spread with each habit that I want to try and develop this month, with its own little section of the drawing, with a section for me to colour in each day. So hopefully by the end of the month this will be a really colourful picture. If it's still a black and white line drawing, I'll know I've not had a very successful month. I've also put down the side of the page a section to keep track of my cleaning schedule, because I'm trying to follow the Fly Lady cleaning system this month. So hopefully this page will keep me on track. So this page is a page that I'm putting in to try and track the amount of time in the art studio that I'm getting in every month. I'm going to use it as a baseline for just what's possible with my life, the life I've got at the minute, just what's possible to actually accomplish in the art studio. I found last month I was getting demoralised with the lack of finished pieces that I was producing. And I think it's really easy to beat yourself up when you're watching other people and what they're accomplishing on YouTube. So I've decided this month just to take a step back and just to measure minutes and hours and to track it that way, just so I can get a baseline of what's possible. Because as a single mom with 3 kids, I might not necessarily be able to do what somebody else can do with no children doing this full time. And here you've got the start of a really simple weekly spread. So here's a final flick through for my February bullet journal setup. There's the cover page, which I was really pleased with, seeing as it's only my 3rd ever attempt at any sort of painting. We've got the calendar for the month with some spaces around the edge ready to take some notes. I added the quote in there, "Let your light shine," which is the collage page for the February goals. There's my habit tracker page. Hopefully that will be beautiful and colourful by the end of the month and won't remain a black and white line drawing, let's hope. And my studio time page, just to get my baseline for how much time I've actually got that I can utilise in the art studio. And then the start of a really simple weekly spread where I'm going to just take that daily and use that as a rough notes section. So that's it for February. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing month, and I will see you again soon.